also is I'm going to just point out some of the key statistics, okay? And I'm going to kind of interpret what the main statistics or the stats are showing for the current month, all right? Now, the only thing is that the stats come out and they lag, right? So last month I did December's, and now I'm going to be covering January stats, right? So, starting off, we're going to go over the Deltona, Daytona, Ormond Beach area, and basically what we're seeing here is an overall relatively cooling market. I think we're kind of seeing a cooling market pretty much everywhere. Are you experiencing that?
Yeah.
Come on, give us some answers. All right. Just kidding. Trying to liven it up just a tad. All right, so starting out, so one of the key stats for this particular area is seeing the closed sales down. Okay, down about 6% year over year. Definitely seeing a little bit of a slowdown in the buyer activity. And obviously we're having a lot of affordability issues pretty much all around, right? So that is definitely something that you can see here. The growing inventory concerns, inventory's definitely been creeping up across all markets. All right, the active listings in this particular area, they rose 38%. Creating about 5 months of inventory, and I've said before, typically you have a balanced market between buyers and sellers, roughly between 5 and 6 months of inventory, all right? So this, homes are gonna be sitting on the market a little bit longer, and that is gonna put some pressure on the prices. So one of the things that this area is seeing is strong cash buyers. Okay, overall it's 33%, so it rose in January 11% year over year. So we're seeing, still some investor activity, or it could be some people, second home buyers as well, all right? As far as the median sale price, pretty stagnant. It only rose 0.8% year over year. And you're going to see the difference between some of the MSAs in the area and why it is so important to know your local market when you're doing any type of deals, all right? So the median sales price here is sitting at around $356,000 with, like I said, just under 1% increase year over year. Okay, so we're definitely seeing overall for this particular area a cooling market. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Just a little bit, you guys understand how the stats paint an overall picture of what's going on. It's not one number that you need to pay attention to, it's all of the numbers and how do they overall show what the market is doing, okay? So for the Space Coast, Brevard, Melbourne, Titusville area, we are seeing pretty much stable but moderate growth. So nothing that's going too crazy. We're staying relatively stable. The median sales price here is at $374,000. It only increased about 2% year over year, better than the 0.8, although it's not much. Okay. So we're seeing steady demand overall, but the inventory increasing like I said with most of the other markets, it is increasing. So for this particular area, it's sitting at about 4 months, which is a 28% year over year. All right, and again, still below like the 5-6 month threshold, but again, something to factor and consider. The median days on market or the time to contract also increasing across the board. All right, this particular area about 51 days. And then we're seeing it pretty stable as far as the time to sale is sitting at around 90 days right now. Okay, so from the time you list it to the time you sell it. Or I'm sorry, the time it goes under contract to the time of sale. Cash sales here remaining relatively strong still. So it's sitting at around, let's see the number here. 30% overall, so up 5% year over year. So we're still seeing, some investor activity here again. When you're referring to cash sales, it's either investor activity or second home buyers, but something to ultimately pay attention to. Okay, but the new listings are rising as well. Like I said, across the board, 13% increase year over year here. Again, it's gonna, as we see the inventory increase, the new listings, and then not being able to keep up with the sales, we're gonna see that put pressure on prices. Make sense?
Yes.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. All right, so now we get into, I was quite surprised to see the difference here for the Orlando Kissimmee area. And one of the key stat on this one was basically the dollar volume. Okay, it was up 12% year over year, and then even though the closed sales are relatively flat, the rising dollar volume, it suggests that there's, you know, some appreciation going on with the that's driving the market value. Okay, median sale price is at $447,000. The average sale price, which is also interesting, so the median sale price was 6% increase, but the average sale price is 11 increase, and that's at $575,000. Now again, just to go back to the old math days, the difference between the median and the average sale price. Okay, the median sale price is always a better number to go off of. The average sale price, it's going to factor in those outliers. Okay, so if you have one property that's been listed for however many days, significantly higher than the relative market, it's going to skew those numbers. Although this is a pretty big difference, I'd be interested to see what property that may or may not have been, right? So the month supply of inventory, the lowest out of the three, sitting at 3.9 months, but it's still up about 39% year over year. So while the inventory again is increasing, and then you have, I believe it's this one, oh yeah, the pending sales, I think, yeah, so you have the inventory increase, so you have new listings up at 17%, but with the new listings, the increased inventory, it's still outpacing the pending sales, which was down 5%. So putting all this together, although we're still seeing the appreciation, right? The increased inventory, the new listings, and then all of that outpacing the pending sales is going to put pressure on that growth, right? So we may still see growth, but it may be moderated slightly. You might not get the 6-7%, might go down to 2, kind of like the Space Coast, right? And then the median time to contract, it's up 15%, 45 days, and still time to contract, or time to closing, excuse me, sitting at 90 days. So overall, you can see somewhat like the comparison against, you know, with the three different markets. You have, you know, softening demand in the Daytona area, flat price trends, Space Coast, stable demand with moderate growth, and then you have the Orlando Kissimmee area with, you know, still price driven, but strong growth. But I would factor in or think about how that is going to potentially slow down because of prices. Make sense?
Yes.
Great. All right, so again, just some kind of outlook, again, just based on some of the data. There's a lot of ways that people can interpret the data too, right? So not everyone's going to interpret it the same exact way, but the point is to have a slight, you know, at least an understanding of what these numbers mean, what they're indicating, and how this is overall affecting the market based on your strategy of investing. All right, so you can expect, you know, we are coming into the spring season, so that's going to help out a little bit. Buyers are definitely gaining some leverage here, right? This is good on our buy side, right? But from what I'm experiencing on the sell side, if you're on the rehab side, houses that are selling are completely remodeled, redone, and they are the ones that are beating the other competition. Okay, so when you're doing your flips, do not cut the corners. Again, cash buyer influence, and then overall mortgage rates, right? Mortgage rates are always going to have an impact. Okay, so let's pay attention and see what's going on, what's going to happen with that, because that will determine partially the growth or lack of, right? Was that good? Quick interpretation? Good enough? Everybody knows what's going on in the market now? You guys are all professionals, and you can go out there and just, you know, slay, right? Okay. All right, well, without further ado, I am going to bring up Faith and Zach to do Deal of the Month.